allow me also to just share some concluding reflection, just in addition to some of the views that Brenda have shared. First is to also join Brenda to thank those in the room and participants who join us online. Indeed, what these have indicated is that we are ready as Africans to not only participate in the global governance, but also to reshape it in a way that we're going to move things further as citizens. Over the symposium, we have basically traversed the past, interrogate the present, and imagine the future of the international system. We had, like what Brenda said, Ambassador Lazarus remind us that we must distinguish between reforming the United Nations and renewing the UN Charter. I think for me, two different but interlinked missions that determine the kind of global system we are fighting for. And Professor Timothy indicates that the current Security Council is a danger to humanity, and warning that an unreformed multilateral order is no longer fit for purpose in addressing conflicts from Sudan to Somalia, or global threats like AI and the climate catastrophe, which we are talking about. EBA also continue to use the 1945 Charter to deal with the 2025 challenge. She said it's like using a typewriter in the days of a smartphone world. So she reminded us that Article 109 indeed offers a rare and historic entry point where Africa can mobilize. And when we talk about Africa mobilize, we're talking about the citizens, not later, not someday, but now. And I want to particularly appreciate Sanusha, who grounded his global conversation in the concrete realities of domestic politics. And she reminded us that the local is global and the global is local. And then she spoke candidly on the tensions South Africa has navigated in aligning domestic priorities with its international footprint from the G20 to BRICS, and highlighted how think tank, civil society, and regional institutions can basically amplify Africa's influence and build momentum at national and continental level. And a challenge was very clear. If Africans want to shape the world, Africa must first mobilize at home. Thank you very much. We also heard from BRICS Bomba, who reminded us that political will does not fall from the sky. It is built by people. It powerfully recalled that major global shift from sanctions against apartheid to global health movement only succeeded when citizens mobilized and movement demanded action. That is the spirit we must reclaim. Colleagues, the message today is unmistakable. Africa does not want a louder voice in a broken system. Africa wants a central role in building a better system, a system where equity is real and not rhetorical, a system where sovereign equity is respected, a system where global threats are met with global responsibility, a system where African lives, African ideas, and African agencies matter. For too long, the world has operated on structure designed without Africa at the table. As EBA reminded us, only 4 African states were present when the Charter was adopted. Today, Africa represents more than a quarter of the UN membership and yet remains structurally marginalized. Article 109 offers the path to concrete or to correct historical injustices and rebuild global governance for the next century. But this will not happen by technical proposal alone. It requires what BRICS call a Pan-African social base, like Brenda rightly said. Artists, youth, academics, workers, parliamentarians, the faith-based organization, journalists, traditional leaders, digital influencers, and our vast diaspora all must carry this conversation. So I leave you with these 3 challenges. Let us normalize the idea of UN Charter reform across Africa, not just in panels like this, but in radio talk shows, in parliament, in universities, in our WhatsApp group, and in our community forums. And institutions like ActionAid does this better with their grassroots intervention and engagement. Let us build alliances across borders and sectors. As Sanusi reminded us, South Africa experience in G20, BRICS, a national institution, regional institution, shows the power of aligning domestic priorities with continental ambition. Lastly, let us mobilize a movement that makes it politically impossible to ignore Africa's demand for justice. Political will follows people, movement creates mandate. Colleagues, if the world is running on outdated software, then we have a responsibility to help write the next version. And therefore, I think you have a responsibility. If the UN is indeed, as Eba warned us, limping into its 80th year, then Africa must inject the courage and imagination needed to renew it. And if the system as it stands is failing to deliver peace, justice, and human dignity, then borrowing from Mandela, we must make what seems impossible inevitable. On behalf of ECOSOCC, I want to thank you for your commitment, your bravery, your belief that Africa can lead this global movement. Let us live not merely in form, but mobilize, which is more fundamental. The future of multilateralism will not be decided for Africa. It will be decided with Africa or not at all. Let us work forward together and let us get to work now.